Okay. So, we are recording a video. This is actually going to be one of my first test videos with sort of the desktop environment. You can see my desk down below, and it gives me a place to be able to set whatever it is that I'm going to be talking about on the desk, talk, and go ahead and record subject matter while working over one particular interest or project or toy or whatever it is that I'm working on. So for the sake of getting something going for this video, I figured what we would talk about is sound a little bit. Sound is obviously going to be super important, and the space that I'm in right now is less than ideal for a clean sound floor. I've actually got servers running behind me. I've got a little micro data center home lab going back there. I also have the HVAC system that is specific to that home lab and the space that I'm in right now. This is actually sort of my office, which is separate from the main building of the house. But anyway, that said, what I'm running is my setup I am using for what you're seeing me on is a Logitech Brio 4K. It is suspended from a pole mount on the ceiling, and it is obviously screwed into the standard threaded camera mount, but it is upside down. And so I'm actually using software to do a 180-degree rotation so that I appear upright, obviously. And then over also hanging from an extension arm to that, I have one of Blue's Yeti microphones. It's just very, very common, readily available off the shelf. Mounted to that arm is a shock mount and then shock mount to the Yeti. And then over top of the Yeti, I have a dead cat, so for plosives, but I'm not even close enough to really cause any of that type of whatever. It's on there when it was more close to my face, but for this, not useful. Then as far as being able to see onto my desk space right here, we have a Insta360 Link, which is just set on desk mode. We do have the ability to essentially get it to look at me, but that would be kind of pointless. Like, actually, you know what, for the sake of it, let's go ahead and have a look at it. It would be here. Yeah, okay, cool. Looking at what's now a green screen. So, okay, the green screen is behind me for the purpose of various different backgrounds if it's something that I felt like I needed for whatever type of video that it is that I'm doing. So there's two of me now, yay! Anyway, so that's mounted there. So Yeti for the sound, Brio 4K for my visual, and then the Insta360 Link, which is, again, incredibly useful for doing the desktop view, which if that's something that you're interested in, I guess I could make a video about that, but there's plenty of them, I'm sure, that exist. There's AI tracking, there's the desk view, there's whiteboard view. Yeah, so it's really, really cool camera. But that's not the point of the video. Now that we're, a couple of minutes into this recording, 3 minutes in, 3.5 minutes in, let's talk about sound. For the purpose of my first desktop review, it's not really a review of anything. This is more just me testing my space and seeing what I'm able to do. I figured we would go over sound. And sound is obviously very important. As said, the acoustic treatment of my space would be ideal, but it's not. And so I have to be able to compensate for that, and I'm hoping that the Yeti is doing a good job. I gave it a little bit of a test, and I think it is. But the Yeti is obviously, for anybody that's familiar with the Yeti, it's a large cardioid microphone, and it comes with a stand, which makes it quite a bit heavier as well, and so it's not going to be ideal for out and about. It's very, very useful if you've got it mounted to something that brings it close to your face. It's really, really good if you want to be able to record directionally, because you're able to set the various different functions. But let's say I'm out in the driveway. Obviously not going to be functional. It's wired, and this particular one, the Yeti, the Yeti itself, because there's a Yeti Pro, but the Yeti itself is USB connected, and what's actually kind of interesting about it is that it is mini USB, not to be confused with micro USB or USB-C. It is mini USB, so it's a little bit of a hassle if I wanted to record in a larger space. so it's not ideal. With that in mind, I purchased an upgrade to my current setup for when I am out and about. I have a variety of different cameras for out and about, and I haven't been doing anything with them. That's actually what's kind of the shame about it, is I haven't been doing anything for a while to film at my capabilities. And I kind of go back and forth a lot on that. You'll notice that when I'm doing this, I don't have a script. I just have thoughts, and it's mostly for me to put it down on paper to come back and visit and remember at a later time. But I do a lot of ums and uhs and so on and so forth, and that's just the nature of me and the way that I'm recording. So lots of recording capabilities. What do I do about sound in that regard? And so let's say I am using a GoPro. Obviously, we have you should be familiar with a GoPro. We have the GoPro Hero. I think this is the Hero 10. Hero 10? Hero 9? It's a 10, I think. 9. This is a Hero 9. Okay, so I've got the GoPro Hero 9. Excellent little camera. It snaps to the motorcycles. We've got a variety of different mounts. We can pop it on the motorcycles. We can pop it onto whatever it is that we want to record. But the versatility is that it can attach to a variety of different mounts, and we've got a variety of different angle of view in that we can go with a fairly narrow, and then we can go up to a fairly wide, but that's where that ends. And then, so what if we wanted to be able to capture something that was on the other side? Do we need another camera? And I've had a variety of 360 cameras for a number of years. I had an LG camera and a Samsung camera, and then I just recently bought another one. But what does that have to do with sound? Well, it has to do with the fact that when we're looking at wherever it is that we're mounting our camera, it doesn't necessarily give us the ability to capture any type of sound. So let's say this camera is mounted inside one place, and we want to be able to pipe audio through from speaking or from another location, remote location, or the camera is mounted on a car, let's say outside, and we want to be able to talk. Then obviously same deal. Like, we're not going to scream at the camera, and even if we did, it would be awful. So anyway, what's really, really cool about the camera is that it gives us the ability to attach something called a media mod. The media mod has a built-in 3.5 millimeter input, and so now we've opened up our options as far as connecting an external microphone. We have the onboard microphone, we have the front and rear microphone that is available on the media mod, and then we have a 3.5 millimeter. Further, GoPro actually makes a USB-C microphone attachment piece. I've got one of those. This was more designed for the older cameras prior to the media mod. I do believe that they still work totally fine, though. Depending on what your mounting situation is, you may choose to use that or not. Anyway, so when we want to be able to record audio from another location, specifically, let's say a GoPro or a 360 camera or whatever it is, how do we go about doing that? Obviously, like a big desktop Yeti isn't going to do the job, and so a number of years ago, I bought something from Rode. These are called the Rode Wireless Go. I am sure that you have probably seen these strapped to various different people's collars, lapels, hoodie strings, whatever, in other content. Sometimes they'll actually be using these, but you won't know that they're using them. This little dead cat doesn't actually have to be part of it. It's just they give you some and they clip on and they're handy and they cut down on plosives. Yeah, but or wind noise. But you may not have necessarily seen the unit. You may have seen like a separate microphone attached to the individual, and this has a couple of wind filters over top of it. But it gives you the ability to have a microphone up on your collar and then stick this unit somewhere else to get rid of the blue light that lights up when it is running. But there are shortcomings to that as well. So you're obviously reliant upon the battery life, but the battery life is probably going to far exceed the battery life inherently of the camera itself. You can actually plug the camera into an external power source while it is running and recording, and so I don't know. You've got a lot of different power options that are there. That's, again, not really the point. Now we're 10 minutes in and we haven't really gotten into the guts of microphones yet. So with that in mind, the Rode Wireless Go, handy little devices. You got a transmitter here, and then you have a receiver, and the transmitter is essentially just a microphone with a little clip on it, so you can clip it to your shirt, you can clip it to your collar, whatever it is, clip it to something, and then you essentially turn on your transmitter. Your transmitter, your receiver, and they wirelessly send your audio from point A to point B. I don't actually remember off the top of my head what the range is for this, but I have not hit the limits of the range before. That's something that we can look up. Again, this is not really a review. It's more of just talking about what it is that I'm using. So the Rode Wireless Go. There are some downsides to that, though. What if it's not just me? What if it's someone else? What if we're, it's me and, let's say, another friend, and we both have part of the conversation? One of the things that I used to do was sit in the car while driving to work. I would commute to the office with a buddy of mine that I worked with, and we were housemates, and we worked in the same office, so it was really convenient. But we would talk hypothetically, philosophically, about a variety of different scenarios, and he had his thoughts on it, I had my thoughts on it, and the microphone on the camera did a fairly decent job for the low production quality of what we were doing, in that he was able to voice his opinions, I was able to voice my opinions, and the microphone picked us up okay. You would hear definitely, the space, the sound floor of, the space that was there. You would hear road noise and things of that nature that didn't get filtered out. But it did an okay job. But let's say we wanted to up our production quality. Obviously, we would use a direct attached microphone, and it could be wireless, but we would have a direct attached microphone to our bodies that was more appropriate for picking up sound as it was attached to us. And so, again, for one person, me rambling and ranting to myself in the car, totally fine. In fact, I might actually start doing that. Whatever. But let's say it's myself and someone else, then how are we going to address them for something like the GoPro, which only has one input? I actually haven't experimented to see whether or not it would support a splitter, but you run into all kinds of hassles of wiring and possible issues as far as feedback and noise and gain and priority of signal and whatever. But so the logical step would be, man, if only we had a multi-channel wireless setup. And not too terribly long ago, Rode came out with something called the Wireless Go 2. And so we've got ourselves a receiver and two transmitters. So suddenly now we have the ability to go ahead and record with one camera, and then have multiple wireless input capabilities for the presenters, the individuals that are speaking on that. And so that's kind of cool, but there's way more to it than that's available as far as the recording. Man, that's a lot of overhead glare. Let's go ahead and kill that. See if that horribly messes up the video. No, that looks a billion times better, so sorry about that. But anyway, so yeah, we now have the Rode Wireless Go 2, and we're now able to strap one of these to one person, strap another one to another person, and the range on these, I believe, is 250 yards, so a huge range. There is no camera that I am currently using that I would film something, and then I would need audio input to that visual perspective from 250 yards away. Like, that's nuts. I don't even know what the battery life is on these, but it's many hours, and so I'm not ever worried about that. They do run on, all of them will charge through USB-C. That's the Rode Wireless and Go and the Rode Wireless Go 2. They all, every single one of them, have USB-C charging ports. The receivers have, let's see if we can get that on there. The receivers have the 3.5 millimeter output, so that you are able to obviously inject your audio to your device. The transmitters have a 3.5 millimeter input, and so you are able to use the built-in microphone, you'll notice that there's a ring around the microphone there, and that's so that you're able to attach these little wind filters to them. And they come with the wind filters, which is good. That have these, I don't want to call them proprietary clips, but these proprietary clips to them. So anyway, so you're able to obviously use the onboard, microphone to the unit itself. You're able to run in a lavalier microphone if you wanted to get rid of the body so that you don't have the lights, and then USB-C charging. There's a couple of tricks up the sleeve for the Wireless Go 2. You can actually plug in the receiver into USB-C and connect it to, I know for sure, a Windows-based computer. You can connect it to that, and it'll act as a microphone. I can actually physically plug this into my computer and then turn on one of the transmitters, and I now have the ability to talk on Discord or Teams or whatever voice communication protocol, Skype, whatever it is that I'm using, record this video even, if that's something that I wanted to do. Further, it will connect to a phone. I know for a fact, just simply because of testing, that it will connect to an Android phone, no problem, through USB-C. USB-C to USB-C, no problem. I did read something about that if you're using iOS, you do have to use a very specific cable. So I don't know anything about that cable. Rode actually talks about it in the documentation that you get with, the microphone. And I think they say something about it on their product page as well. Some kind of proprietary, it's not proprietary. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. It's some type of cable that is specifically for iOS when you're going from USB-C to Lightning. What I don't know is I have an iPad Pro that uses USB-C. So I don't know if your Apple device, your iOS device, has USB-C, if a standard C-to-C cable will work. I haven't tested that. But again, to Windows, I don't know about Mac OS, and to Android, USB-C to USB-C, or USB-C to USB-A, whatever it is that your receiving end on your computer or your phone, it would have to be C for this setup. You're able to use it as a microphone for that, and a wireless microphone for that. There's not really a whole lot else to talk about there. You do have the ability to adjust the gain for the transmitters. You do have the ability to, and independently, so on the Wireless Go 2, you have the ability to record these as a merged track on the Wireless Go 2. So it comes through as one individual track. You have the ability to split them so that you have two tracks, and then you have the ability to set it as a safety track, so that you're able to have a gain reduction for that safety track, so that in the event that you are clipping or hitting like beyond peak on your primary, your safety should be able to catch that. Further, and this is something that I am not going to use, the Wireless 2, let's actually go back to the Wireless 1. We were just talking about connectivity. The Wireless 1, when I connected it to Windows and Android, it did not allow me to use it as a microphone for that. It simply, you have to use a 3.5 millimeter. And I, excuse me, I know such cables exist. Obviously, you can go the receiver for the Rode Wireless Go, the 1. You are able to plug that into your 3.5 millimeter either combo jack or input jack on your computer, and that obviously works. There's nothing digital to that, really. It's just you've got your signal, it's coming in, it's done. But through USB-C directly, no. It'll plug in and go, oh, you have a microphone plugged in. If you're using the Wireless 2, it goes, hey, you have a Rode Wireless Go 2 plugged in. Let's go ahead and use that as our microphone. Okay, so there's that. Going back to the Wireless Go 2, they actually have onboard storage so that you're actually able to record directly to, I don't know if it's recording to the transmitters or if it's recording to the receiver, and the receiver is where the storage is, but you are able to record independently, transmitters to our receiver, and you're able to store whatever it is that you're recording directly on the devices themselves. And then I imagine you just simply plug it into a computer or phone and export the content to whatever it is that you're exporting to. It is my understanding, however, that you are required to have Rode's software. It's not recognized just as a like a detachable or removable storage device, and then you just, you have access to a root or local directory to the unit, and then pull the media off that way. But instead, you do apparently have to use software. Again, it is a feature I will never use, and so I don't know the ins and outs of the details, but it is there if it's something that maybe you go, oh man, I wish I had the ability to do something like that. It is an option. Let's say you're up to some sneaky shit or something, and you just want to drop one of these wireless microphones somewhere, to record audio wirelessly from another location for several hours and record it onto, the unit itself for extraction later. It'll do that. So anyway, the competitor, the immediate competitor that I believe that exists for the Rode Wireless Go 2s is the DJI mic, and it is something that I looked at. I just couldn't find one right away. And that one, however, I believe you are able to simply just plug it in and pull all your audio files off of it. You don't have to use the software. So there's that. That one also comes with a charging case. What you see right here is essentially what this comes with. It comes with 3 USB cables, USB-A to USB-C. It comes with one of these cables, but it's not spiraled. It just comes with a shorter cable, which is TRS 3.5 millimeter on both ends. And that's about it. I don't think it came... Oh, it came with a little pouch to hold them in, so that's cool, I guess. But, yeah, very, very, very simple. Not much else to say about these other than what I am using them for. I had the Rode Wireless Go's, or Go, singular unit, 1 transmitter, 1 receiver. Now I have the Rode Wireless Go 2 that will essentially just replace this. Because now I have the ability to do multi-channels. Even if I'm just going to use one channel, I will probably continue to use the Rode Wireless Go 2 because I don't want to disconnect and reconnect and everything like that, but who knows? I don't know. Anyway, that's what it is. Very, very simple. 22 minutes in. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you're curious about knowing, again, this is not a review video. This is just me. This is more me testing out my capabilities of recording a desk top-down view of my desk, and I bought the Rode Wireless Go 2s yesterday, and so I figure let's go ahead and, and do a video on that and see what that looks like. So, if you have any questions about the Rode Wireless Go 2, or any of the other product stuff that I talked about, the Wireless Go 1, the Yeti microphone, the Insta360 Link, the Logitech Brio, if you have any questions about any of that, by all means, reach out. This, again, isn't meant to be a review. This is just me rambling for, I don't know, a half an hour about whatever with lots of ums and uhs. And I'd be more than happy to address any dialogue that you wanted to engage in regarding any of the subject matter here. So, yeah, I guess there's not really a whole lot else to say. Oh, one other thing. I said it came with the USB cables and a pouch or whatever. On the back of one of these, I don't remember if it was on a transmitter or the receiver, there's a little elastic band that said, QC30, so probably like a quality control check or whatever, on the face of every one of these, because they are a very glossy plastic, which is why I had to kill the overhead light, because they were just creating lots of reflection. But there were, that plastic film that'll be stuck to brand new devices when you buy them, so that you have the ability to just peel it off and, or glossy surfaces, essentially. New phone, like a glass side panel, maybe, whatever, whatever that you peel. Well, what was really interesting is that the one that was physically connected to the receiver for the Rode Wireless Go 2, and I don't remember having the issue for the Wireless Go 1s, and it didn't exist as an issue, anyway, on the transmitters for the Wireless Go 2, was that when I went to go peel that off, and it doesn't take a lot of force, it takes a smidgen of force. When I went to peel it off, it took the whole panel with it. And I had to press it back down and hold it for a second. And now it's not coming off, but just be careful if you buy these. Be careful when you take that off. Be really, because I wasn't Herculean might ripping the thing off or anything like that. I just went to peel it off. And it took the whole piece of plastic with it. So, I don't know about their durability, but I wasn't super impressed with that bit. I don't think it's a problem. It's not a problem right now. So yeah, that's all. Little nuance of the unboxing experience that I had. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video and upload it blindly. And yeah, sorry for about the 25 minutes of your life you can't get back. Have a good day.